Something impossible just happened in the aviation world. A project Boeing buried years ago has suddenly returned, pushed forward not by engineers, but by an airline facing a future without its most important aircraft. And now, a plane that was never supposed to exist is inching toward reality. The shock that shouldn't have happened. The Dubai Air Show is usually predictable. Airlines place orders, manufacturers boast about efficiency, and everyone pretends the next 5 years of aviation will be calm. Then Emirates stepped on stage and detonated the narrative. Their announcement of 65 additional Boeing 777-9 aircraft was significant on its own, but something else was hidden beneath the headlines. Emirates had quietly revived a project Boeing left untouched for nearly a decade, a stretched twin-engine giant known internally as the 710. The industry had stopped talking about the concept years ago. Boeing had shelved it to focus on certifying the 777-9, the 777-8, and the new 777-8F freighter. All three programs were late, over budget, and still waiting for certification. The idea of adding an even larger aircraft seemed reckless. Yet, when Emirates signaled interest, everything changed. Suddenly, Boeing admitted they were deep into a new feasibility study. Suddenly, analysts realized this wasn't a rumor. And suddenly, the world's biggest twin-engine airliner was back on the table. The question wasn't why Emirates wanted it. The question was why Boeing agreed to look again, inside the 710. To understand the 710, imagine taking the already enormous 777-9, the flagship of the 777X family, and stretching it by about 5 meters. That extra length pushes the aircraft to roughly 268 feet, longer than a football field. The result is a two-engine aircraft that could carry around 470 passengers in a standard 3-class layout, and far more if airlines chose dense seating. This pushes the 710 into the capacity zone, once occupied only by 4-engine super jumbos, like the Airbus A380 and the Boeing 7. The idea wasn't new. During the early 2010s, Boeing engineers modeled multiple 777X stretch concepts. They found that the airframe could support the added length and structural load. The landing gear would handle it. Even the composite folding wingtips were capable of absorbing the stress. Technically, the aircraft was feasible. Yet, Boeing never intended to build it. The market for aircraft carrying more than 350 passengers is limited. Airbus sold only 251 A380s before shutting down production. Airlines were shifting towards smaller, long-range twins. And Boeing lacked the bandwidth to chase both innovation and certification at the same time. The 710 became a ghost project, technically possible, strategically ignored, until one airline changed the math. Emirates' hidden agenda. Emirates is the world's largest operator of the Airbus A380. That aircraft is the backbone of their long-haul strategy, allowing Dubai to function as a global super hub. But every A380 flying today has an expiration date. Airbus ended production in 2021, and Emirates expects their fleet to retire gradually between the mid-2030s and 2041. There is no replacement in the market, none. Not from Airbus, not from Boeing. This is a crisis for Emirates that the aviation world rarely acknowledges. Their network relies on enormous aircraft, feeding limited airport slots. Without something close to A380 capacity, their competitive model cracks. Emirates asked Airbus for an A380neo. Airbus refused. They asked for an A350 stretch. Airbus said no again. That left only one path. Find a manufacturer willing to build something big enough, even if it stretched the limits of twin-engine design. So, Emirates made their move. They backed Boeing's feasibility study. They negotiated options that could convert into 710 orders if the aircraft is launched. And their chairman, Sheikh Ahmed bin Saeed Al Maktoum, publicly stated they want this aircraft and are prepared to wait for it. Emirates is not casually exploring ideas. They are fighting for the survival of their operating model. If Boeing walks away, Emirates walks into a future without its crown jewel, the engineering barrier that could kill the plane. Building a bigger aircraft is easy on paper. Certifying it is where the physics push back. For the 710, the single greatest challenge is not size, weight, or tail strike risk. Boeing already uses electronic tail skid protection on the 777X. The true barrier is engine-out performance. Twin-engine aircraft must demonstrate they can continue a takeoff with one engine inoperative, not just continue, but maintain directional control, reach required climb gradients, and achieve safe liftoff within regulated runway distances. For a jet the size of the 710, losing one GE 9X engine, the largest turbofan in the world, creates a yawing imbalance unlike anything currently certified. Justin Hale, Boeing's customer leader for the 777X program, has acknowledged this openly. The engineering challenge isn't whether the fuselage can be stretched. It is whether the aircraft can meet one-engine certification rules without needing impractically long runways, excessive thrust, or unacceptable weight penalties. Boeing will also need to analyze how the stretch affects wing loading, fuel capacity, and payload range trade-offs. Darren Hulst, Boeing's vice president of commercial marketing, has emphasized that the market for aircraft above 350 seats is thin. That means Boeing must prove not just technical viability, but business viability. If either side of that equation fails, the 710 dies before reaching a wind tunnel model. Boeing versus Airbus. The Dubai Air Show revealed more than a potential new aircraft. It exposed a shifting balance of power. Airbus walked away with orders that undermined Boeing's traditional stronghold in the Gulf. Etihad ordered 16 wide-bodies, including A350-1000S and A330-900 Neos. Air Europa shocked analysts by signing for up to 40 A350-900S. But the most symbolic blow came from Fly Dubai. For the first time since its founding in 2009, Fly Dubai placed an Airbus order, a memorandum for 150 A321 Neo aircraft. This was a clear strategic pivot from a carrier that had previously relied exclusively on Boeing narrowbodies. The move signaled not just frustration with Boeing's production issues, but rising confidence in Airbus's long-term delivery stability. Boeing, meanwhile, secured 65 additional 777-9 orders from Emirates. On paper, the number seems competitive. In reality, the context is harsher. The 777-9 program is more than 5 years behind schedule. Certification remains uncertain. Airlines still do not know when their aircraft will arrive. In this environment, Boeing exploring the 710 is not a show of strength. It is a bid to protect a strategic partnership, maintain relevance in a region shifting toward Airbus, and give Emirates a reason to keep faith in the 777X platform. Every order in the Gulf now carries political weight. A history written. in metal, accidents, and missed chances. The rivalry between Airbus and Boeing has always been more than economics. It has been a clash of philosophies. When Airbus formed in 1970, Boeing dominated the skies with the 707, 727, and 747. Airbus answered with the A300, the first twin-engine widebody, and later with the A320 and its fly-by-wire innovations. By 2003, Airbus delivered more aircraft than Boeing for the first time. Boeing held on to prestige through the 777, which became the most successful wide-body twin in history. Then the script flipped. The 787's battery issues shook confidence. And in 2018 and 2019, the 737 MAX crashes changed everything. Ethiopia, Flight 302 and Lion Air Flight 610 exposed lethal flaws in the MCAS system and triggered the longest grounding in modern aviation. Boeing lost more than $20 billion and much of its reputation for engineering excellence. Airbus capitalized. The A320neo family surged past 7,000 orders. The A350 gained momentum with long-haul carriers seeking fuel efficiency and range stability. By 2024, Airbus held around 60% of the narrow-body market and a commanding share of new wide-body interest. This history matters because Boeing now faces a dilemma shaped by its own past decisions. Launching a giant twin-engine aircraft requires confidence from regulators, airlines, and investors. Boeing has to rebuild that confidence one certification at a time. A bold new stretch may help. It may also backfire. The real question, will Boeing actually build it? The aviation world tends to assume Boeing will eventually greenlight the 710. The logic seems simple. Emirates wants it. The airframe is feasible. The market for ultra-large aircraft is opening again as global travel rebounds. Yet Boeing's internal calculus is more complex. The 710 would serve a replacement market of just over 1,000 aircraft, when counting aging 747s, 777s, 300 ERS, and A380s. That is respect. Development costs would be significant, and certifying an aircraft of this size under tightened regulatory scrutiny. Boeing also has limited engineering bandwidth as it navigates MAX family issues, 787 production oversight, and the long-delayed 777X. Still, there is one reason Boeing might proceed. If they do nothing, Airbus walks into the next decade owning the high-capacity long-haul market. Emirates, the largest long-haul operator in the world, has made its need clear, and the Gulf region is shifting. Whoever controls that market controls some of the most profitable trunk routes on Earth. So the decision becomes simple and impossible at the same time. Build the 710 and risk stretching an already strained company, or abandon it and watch Airbus define the future alone. For now, Boeing is studying, Emirates is waiting, and the aviation world is holding its breath.